Well, hello, everybody. Welcome to our I've Decided podcast. My name is Kim Martin, and I'm the founder of I've Decided and host of your show today. So, we are going to be talking about resourceful. And what does resourceful mean exactly? Well, the definition says having the ability to find quick and clever ways to overcome difficulties or being skilled at solving problems. So let me ask you, how resourceful are you?
Hold on as Kim Martin and Pastor Chuck Brown help you look at 6 distinctive traits that resourceful people have in common.
Well, I'm here today with my awesome guest, Pastor Chuck Brown. Hello, Pastor Chuck.
Oh, she said awesome.
It's one of my
How are
favorite
you,
words.
Kim?
I
I'm
am
doing
good.
wonderful. How are you
Yes,
doing?
I am doing great. And Pastor Chuck is the senior pastor at Victory Christian Church. And you and I met a few years ago at one of our
Yes.
I've Decided motivational leadership
Yes.
conferences. And it was a great pleasure to meet you. And I've been following you on social media. And man, talk about resourceful, you guys. Pastor Chuck, you are doing some amazing things. And one of the things that I saw most recently, which I am just so impressed and in awe of, is the grocery store idea. What you're doing with opening a grocery store here in Peoria, Illinois. Now, we are recording live on today is Tuesday, Fat Tuesday. We were just talking about that. But you might be listening, maybe a week from now or even a year from now. But we are recording in Peoria, Illinois. And so Victory Church is local here in Peoria, Illinois. And you are doing some great things on the south side of Peoria, which I think is resourceful. So I'm interested in learning more. And that's why I wanted you to join me. And I just wanted to have a great conversation with you today. I have some characteristics of people who are resourceful and thought we could talk about some of those. But
Great.
tell us what's going on with that.
Well, I'm very excited. It's one of my. I'm a pastor by vocational, but also an entrepreneur, and this supermarket came about. Vision that God gave me, considering Peoria has 2 locations in our community, which would be considered a food desert.
Okay.
Food desert, by definition, is an area that the Department of Agriculture considers an area where at least a large portion of the population is within, I guess you can say, further than a mile from fresh food. And that's in an urban community. But if you're in a rural area, that rule of thumb is for 10 miles.
Okay.
And so the south side of Peoria has had some great, first of all, great area town, great people, but they've had a tough time maintaining the essential services such as supermarkets. They have suffered a loss by losing Walgreens, CVS. And so, but there's a saturation of convenience stores. And again, no indictment against convenience stores. Those business owners are working very hard to try to provide a valued service as well. But when it comes to a supermarket,
there's no fresh fruit
in the
convenience store,
No.
usually outside the little baskets of
Right.
maybe a few bananas
Here
or
or there.
here or there. I see
And
what you're
so
saying.
You don't
Okay.
have, and as a result, food desert areas, according to research and study, you're dealing with health crisis. Obesity is a major issue because most people develop patterns of eating unhealthy food or processed food. And so it does have a very negative impact on the community.
Mhm.
So our goal is to go in and fix the problem.
I love it. Resourceful. Can we come back to that definition again?
That's it.
Having the ability to find quick and
Yes.
clever ways to overcome difficulties,
Yes.
skilled at solving problems,
Yeah, absolutely.
which
Yeah.
I think a lot of entrepreneurs, you just said you have
Yes.
that entrepreneurial mindset. And that's pretty typical
Yes.
of an entrepreneurial spirit. You're looking for ways to solve those problems. And so you're just going to open that's when you guys, I saw that. I'm like, Pastor Chuck just going to go and open a supermarket. And I thought I was,
Yeah, it's a huge project.
Right.
And the further I get into it, the more I'm like, okay, what am I doing? No, I'm just kidding. But it's, I've got a great guy, John Hopkins. He has been very supportive and kind of helping me get through a tough season here in my life. And he also is an entrepreneur. Us entrepreneurs, we're crazy. We're risk takers, but I do want to share this with entrepreneurs. Here's a good thought concerning resourcefulness. You can have anything in life you want if you help enough other people get what they want. And that was a quote by Zig Ziglar.
One of my favorite quotes.
It's our thing. We're wanting to help bring something of value to the community. We're not looking for people to tear the doors down to Harvest because, well, we're the only option. We want you to come. Literally, we want to be a very competitive store. We want to be a very exciting place to shop. We want a great experience. We will sell all essentials, of course, but we want you to really experience good quality service that's going to be major. And so with that, we'll have a food court called Harvest Grill. So we're going to have some great food there.
Yummy.
As well as I finally put my name on one of my business ventures, Brown Coffee and Cream. Get it? No point intended. So we'll have a coffee kiosk, and again, I'm an old school. For all of you young people who like spending a lot of money on flavored water called coffee, because coffee to me is just black coffee. Okay, I'm just saying. Anyway,
right.
But we're gonna have mocha latte and all that cute stuff that they like.
That's awesome.
It's going to be fun. We even took the drop ceiling out of the building. We didn't want to have the Dollar General look. We wanted to give you a great appeal when you walk in the door. So it's going to be fun.
When are you opening?
Well, the goal was April, but supply chain issues and then getting some other things in place that we need to do. We should be open by June, at which time I'm going to speak on another resource that we're going to provide, and we are being resourceful. Farmers markets will still take place in our parking lot. We're going to have a specific section of our parking lot set up for our community partners who provide vegetables and community gardens. I haven't had the pleasure of meeting with them yet. I have spoke to a few people in that area.
Okay.
And so we're going to have, when they come and you do the farmers market, you'll be able to get produce out there on the spot. We'll have a big fat grill out there. We'll have cotton candy and stuff for the kids, and we're going to do that all summer. So
that is going to be great. I cannot wait. I'm so thankful that I'm in Peoria so that I can participate. And if you're not in Peoria, you can drive on over or get online and check it all out. So I guess I want to ask a couple of questions. So these bigger stores move out of the area.
Yes.
I'm curious what happens, why, the big reason why.
Right.
And then my second question is, how are you guys going to do it differently
so
that you don't run into any of the same situations that whatever it is they ran into? Can you speak on that a little bit?
Absolutely. That is we have what I consider a very good business model, and we have taken that into strong consideration. There are problems that both Aldi's and Save a Lot experience, as with other business owners, the issue of theft. But what most people don't understand is most theft in supermarkets is internal and not external.
Okay.
So therein has to come a skill of hiring and creating more of a team approach. And by having people in the community that we feel good about, that we can trust, that's going to come in and do a great job. In fact, we won't have employees, we'll have team members.
Okay.
So they'll be a part of this process. Pay and different things will be based on the performance of the store.
Okay.
And so as the store performs and does well, our team members will also benefit from that, as well as the community, which I'll share here in a moment. The other thing we have to take in consideration is in that our area where we're going to be located, there is a large number of people who do depend on the link as far as
Sure.
food for food and families. And I think that's amazing. We want to serve those families and we want to do a great job, but we also had to adjust our store accordingly to when that time of the month does come. We're going to be an attractive enough store and competitive enough where we anticipate uh, uh, customers from the 61606, the Bradley area. They're just going to love us so much. They're going to want to come down the hill. So we will be able to tackle that challenge, which was another issue for Save a Lot. Theft prevention will also, because we will not sell alcohol or tobacco products.
Okay.
We will have our food court. So typically when people come in shoplifting, I hate using that term, but it's really a concern of a lot of people. You'll get a box of cereal because our meat will be set up like Alwyn's. So it's behind the case.
Okay.
Our, again, we don't have anything that's really attractive for anyone external to come and put in your pocket. But,
usually it's
you're
the
gonna have that.
addictions that
Yeah.
cause somebody
Yeah.
that don't have the resources. And
Mhm.
I study behavior change, and that's what I
Yes.
do as a coach,
Yes.
and helping people change the behaviors
Yes.
that they need to change in order to see the results they want to see.
Yes.
And it can be weight loss, which is what I've spent most of
Yes.
my time doing at Curves, right? But what
Yes.
I have learned is it doesn't matter what it is. It's
Yes.
success is a process. It's all the
Absolutely.
same mindset, and it's a methodology.
Right.
And usually, and what I find and what I believe and what I've learned is that uh people that steal usually aren't thieves.
No.
They don't,
No.
there is a
Yes.
desperation
Yes.
behind
Yes.
the what they're doing.
Right.
They don't typically have that heart of a evil, mean thief. It's
Right.
that I'm desperate. I mean, it's hard for people to understand that don't struggle with addictions. But I come
Right.
from a family of addiction. I struggle
Yes.
with addictions.
Yes.
I have struggled with addictions in the past.
Right.
Smoking, let's just use
Okay.
that being one of them. Of course,
Okay.
thank God, by the grace of God, I
Yes.
kicked that habit.
Absolutely.
I lost a sister last summer
Oh, man.
from lung cancer at 55
Okay.
years old from the habit.
Yes.
So, it's been in our family. But what I will say is, if you don't know what it feels like to have that nicotine craving
Right.
or be addicted, and all of a
Right.
sudden you're in this terrible place
Right.
mentally, it puts you in a desperate situation.
Yeah.
I want to just remind you guys what,
Mhm.
maybe in case they missed it, you said you're not going to sell tobacco and liquor, which I honor so greatly
Right.
that you are doing that, because that's a huge, generally speaking, that's a huge moneymaker.
Right.
And so the fact that you're just going to say, no, we're not going to do that, we're going to count on this other
Right.
products to be, I just think that's phenomenal.
Well, I just want to piggyback a little bit on what you said, and that's usually the case. Being in a ministry, people have issues that lead to some criminal behavior. You're going to have that, a lot of mental health issues as well. One thing Harvest is going to have is sort of a benevolence program.
Okay.
If you have a issue where you are struggling and you do not have link or you do not have a resource of cash to get food, we're actually going to have a community benevolence where we can take care of you. So what that does is that takes away the temptation of feeling like you need to take care of yourself. Getting away from the alcohol and tobacco products. Again, we are committed to bringing a healthy resource into the community, and I feel we're willing to take that risk, and make up those gross sales if we are doing a great job on our grill and our coffee kiosk.
I have no doubt you will.
We're going to have cooking classes too.
You are?
Yes.
Oh my goodness, that is awesome.
Every Saturday, you come in and do a lot of tasting, but we're going to do a lot of great things with vegetables and really help people discover new ways that you can create appetizing dishes with the use of vegetables and bell peppers and different things like that. That's good for you.
That is so awesome.
Yeah.
I'm just excited.
Me too.
I can't wait. I mean,
Looking
I'm even
forward.
more excited. And I know you said it at the beginning. Can you say what the name of the grocery store is?
Okay. It's a Harvest Supermarket and Grill.
Harvest
That will be the
Supermarket
complete name.
and Grill.
Yes.
I love that.
And inside you'll have what's called brown coffee and cream. The goal is to incubate brown coffee and cream. And at some point we're hoping to take that concept outside of the store, and be able to do another business opportunity down the street. One other thing I think is really big when we talk about being resourceful, because we are not a chain. We're not under the pressure like Kroger's or Aldi's or any of the other fine supermarkets in our community. We will be able to take our profits from our business and reinvest back into the community.
Yeah.
That's our plan.
That's your plan. And
Yeah.
it's going to work great. I
Yeah,
mean,
I'm
there's no
excited.
doubt about it. What you got, your heart's in the right place.
Yes.
What you're doing is for the good. And you're going to get, you already have a huge following and support in the Peoria community.
Yes.
And I think that's going to just, it's going to be a huge difference
Yes.
maker.
That's what we hope
Plus,
so.
people in this community want things to get better, and
Absolutely.
we want to see success in all areas of our community. And more
Yeah.
importantly, we just want to see people be successful.
Yes.
And so coming back to how resourceful are you? So if you're listening to this podcast and you're listening to Pastor Chuck Brown talk about his vision with the supermarket and grill, I want to, in the article that we sent out to our members, we gave them 6 distinctive traits that resourceful people have in common.
All right.
And so I want to share those with you guys. I want you to take these traits, and what I want you to do is I want you to think about them and how they relate to you and in your life. And none of us are these traits. None of us have all of them.
Right.
And even if we do have them all, we don't have them all at the same time. Okay. These are behaviors, really. They're practices. And behaviors can be learned.
Right.
And
Absolutely.
good behavior and bad behavior.
That's correct.
So regardless, if you go, I'm not a flexible person.
Yes.
Okay. That's a behavior. And so you can become flexible.
Right.
If you're not practicing being a flexible person,
It'll never happen.
then you won't be flexible. You're right. Okay. You're right.
Yes.
But if you practice being flexible, then you become flexible.
Right.
And so I think it's important that you have these takeaways, because I can sense just in having this conversation with you, Pastor Chuck, that you certainly have many of these. And if you don't, you quickly figure it out and pick it up when you need to.
Okay.
And so the first one, as I said, is flexibility, right?
Absolutely,
so being flexible, listening to what people,
yes,
right? I think, and being open to hear. And even when we come back to talking about the supermarket, I know that there are people that say, well, you can't open a store there because people come steal, and you get all this violence, and people are afraid, and people are scared. Yeah. But we got to be flexible and open-minded and listen. What you just said made perfect sense. Right. They're coming. If usually theft is on the internal, which I agree with that. I've worked in retail many years prior to my curves, and I've decided that's so true. And that's across the board. So if you figure out a way to make that more beneficial to the employee, if there's no theft happening, that's going to help.
Oh, yes.
But also knowing that usually theft is caused by a desperate plea of some sort, whether it be an addiction or hunger.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
Or their family's hungry or something like that. So, so just, being flexible to listen, being open-minded to understand that there's different ways of doing things.
COVID taught us something.
Yeah.
We had to learn to be flexible. I mean, out of COVID came Zoom meetings, of podcast things that were intensified at a greater level. And as entrepreneurs and business owners, and even if you're trying to start a ministry, whatever it is, that God has given you, you have to be willing to be flexible. And I think that's one of the biggest challenges that most people face is they're wanting everything to be ABC 1, 2, 3, but that's not the real world. And if you're not willing to adapt, you're gonna have a tough time no matter what your goals are. Yeah, I agree. So second, they're confident. Now, so you have to understand, people think that confident people are always confident. No. And again, it's a behavior and a practice. If you meet someone who you think is confident, you go, I don't have the confidence they have.
I'm not as confident as Pastor Chuck or Kim.
Right.
I can't walk into a room and just start
Just
talking to
start talking.
you know, you can, whether you think you
Right.
can or think you can't, you're right
You're
either way,
Absolutely.
right? Confidence is a practiced behavior,
Mhm.
and people aren't confident all the time.
No.
You know,
Yeah.
but it definitely is a distinctive trait
Right.
of someone who's resourceful. Any thoughts on, you know,
Confidence.
what would you say to someone who says, yeah, I'm kind of weak in that area, or, you know?
I think the big thing is learn if for example, if you have a goal, okay, I can sit here and talk to you with more confidence concerning Harvest Supermarket because I took the time to do my research. I take training through United Food Incorporated. So it's amazing. The more you learn about what it is you're trying to do, the more confident you become. And at some point, faith has to step in,
Mm-hmm.
and that will raise your level of confidence, knowing that if God brought you to it, he'll bring you through it.
Woohoo! I love
Yes.
it. Amen. Claiming that one. So, what about innovative? Resourceful people tend to be innovative, which is come on now, this is what's happening with your supermarket and the
Yes.
brown
Brown coffee and
brown
cream.
coffee. I gotta you've probably already determined maybe where you're going to get your beans and that kind of thing, but I have to share after the podcast is over. I have to share a resource with
Good.
you. We have a local. You are open. Good. We have a local family who actually grows beans in Colombia, and it's an amazing story. They're doing great things. So I'll tell you about
we're
that.
certainly looking for local suppliers, by the way.
They're looking, yeah, they run in it.
Yes.
They run because they have a coffee
Yes.
shop. They run into people thinking it's competition.
No.
But ultimately, they grow their own beans on a sustainable farm. And what they're doing is paying the farmers sustainable wages in Colombia, where you know that's not a good area. They're being paid pennies and they're starving.
Oh, man.
And then they are tempted to grow opium, which causes all of us problems. And so they're good people doing good work. And I don't know if there's a fit there, but we'll be innovative and maybe think it through.
We're certainly looking for local farmers. We're looking for local food suppliers. We're even going to help people who may want to put their product on the shelves. I know one local business owner, Loving Good, has a great barbecue sauce. It is definitely our goal to put their sauce on our shelf. They haven't even talked to me. Have
you talked to Michelle King about her collard greens?
No. See?
All right,
Michelle.
Yeah, you know who Michelle. You know Michelle King.
Sure do. I didn't know you did collard greens.
And she has an amazing idea. She's going to put them in a jar.
Okay,
it's going to be good. I'm going to talk to her too. All right. Here's another one. They're prepared.
Yes.
You know, we can't wait. You can't just wait for things to happen. Yes. You got to be prepared for what's going to happen.
That's that old saying, better to be prepared and not have an opportunity than to get an opportunity and not be prepared. You never know when God's going to release that plan. So you do your homework, and most people want success, but it's kind of like many people just want to stand on the stage and collect the gold medal without putting in the preparation of what you have to do. You have to prepare yourself mentally, spiritually, physically, emotionally, and financially. Mm-hmm. Those are 5 key points for me. And I tell people all the time, it starts with spiritual, and then taking care of your body and getting yourself prepared. You may not have the money right away to start your business. You may not have the connections or all the people you need to start your church, but just get started.
Yes.
Dr. King put it best, when you climb the ladder, you must take the first step. Mm-hmm. You don't need to climb the whole ladder right away.
Yep. Yeah. So. And he also said, if you can't run, walk. If you can't walk, crawl, whatever you can do, right?
That's resourceful.
Exactly. And that's what it's about. It's about starting where you are with what you have.
Yes.
Right now, today. Yes. And
started.
So, yes. And steadfast. Resourceful people are steadfast. Yes. Meaning you got stick-to-itiveness. You ever heard of that word?
Oh, absolutely.
I read a book one time called Stick-to-itiveness. It's actually so funny. This is a total little sidebar, but it's a new word in the dictionary. It's actually a word in the dictionary now in this latest. Anyway, it wasn't a word and now it is. intuitiveness.
Needs to be.
And it's just saying, I'm going to do it till, it happens, because I know this is what is I'm supposed to be doing, having that faith that you're where you're supposed to be, doing what you're supposed to do. And if God what did you say? If God brings you to it,
he'll bring you through
he'll bring you through it.
Yeah, it was Longfellow that said, if you stand at the door and you knock long enough and hard enough, somebody's going to answer. Sooner or later. You have to be willing to stand in there. After you've done all the stand there for. Somebody say, how long till you get what you're standing there for?
I love that. That is so true. So you have to be steadfast. You can never give up. And let me tell you, you want to.
Yes.
You want to give up, and you think that it's not happening in the right timing, and it's you get exhausted and you get tired, and you might fall down, but you get up and you dust yourself off and you get back to standing.
Yeah, I learned in life, when life knocks you down, land on your back. You can look up, you can get up. I mean, it's critically important. You are going to have adversity. You're going to, it's a part of the process. Christ had adversity. Everyone's going to run into that adversity, but it's not there to stop you. It's there to build you and strategically make you stronger. And you'll feel so much better when you persevere and you get through. You'll feel better, a little taller. And I think most people listening, you think about some of the things that you've ever had to go through.
Right.
And you got to the other side. You didn't quit. And didn't you feel a little bit taller?
Yes, absolutely. I think the biggest mistake that we make as humans when it comes to success is that we give up too soon, and we think it shouldn't be so hard.
No.
Because most of the time we just see, successful people.
They're just there.
And you think, oh, it's just easy for them. It's just good for them. And, the highest performing athletes in our country. I mean, the greatest of all times, Michael Jordan. Who's the guy that just retired, the football guy down in Florida, the Buccaneers guy that went?
Tom Brady.
Absolutely. He's known as the GOAT now because he's won so many. But those kinds of athletes, we see their success, but the work that went on behind the scene, most people would never do. Never do it. And so it's hard.
Yeah. And it's do it hard. Life is going to throw curves. It's a part of the process. Some people, again, we want that success, but sometimes we'll see the obstacle. We'll say, well, maybe this isn't the plan of God for me. This isn't what I'm supposed to be doing. And so it's easier to retreat back to comfort, but maybe that obstacle was put there for you to grow. Again, airplane can't get in the sky without the resistance of wind. You can't build muscles, from curves, without the resistance sometimes of weight or pressure. It is those things that make you. And like the old folks say, if it don't kill you, to make you stronger.
And that's the absolute truth. And that's true. I think, I know you and we've lived long enough to have experienced that. So, all right. They're flexible, they're confident, they're innovative, they're prepared, they're steadfast, and last but not least, they're calm.
Yes.
Ooh, this was the one I struggled with. This one hit home for me. I was like, oh, Lord, I feel it. I know I can get real crazy real quick.
Yeah. That's not one of my strengths, though. I can't tell you anything about being calm.
Well, we're in trouble. We're the same.
Entrepreneurs. People tell us to calm down. There you go.
Just calm down. My husband says that to me all the time, and I want to punch him when he says that.
Yeah, or be patient.
Yeah,
I hate
he's
that
like,
word.
Hey, babe, calm down. I'm like, I'm gonna calm you down.
Yeah.
So it's ironic that I came up with this, but as I thought through the process and as I'm writing these articles, I'm always thinking from a perspective of myself and conviction, right? And it's like, okay, when I find myself not being resourceful, what's happening?
Right.
Usually I'm freaking out.
Absolutely.
So if I stay calm, and remember there's a solution for everything. If you just stay calm enough to see it, because once you I heard a message one time at church, a pastor, I'm not even sure who it was, but talking about, you know, you get in a mud puddle, right? And somebody gets in a mud puddle and they're pounding around in the mud puddle, someone freaking out or causing whatever problems. Well, you can get in the mud puddle with them, or you can stay outside on the clean ground. You know,
Absolutely.
and it's like that's kind of the same. You can stay calm or you can jump in the mud puddle. And we know which one usually works out for the better.
Yes. Learning to, you know, hold your peace. I mean, it's not something we, you know, that's natural. Some people it does come natural, but it is learning to, you know, hold your peace and let the Lord fight your battles. There's a time to press, but there's also a time to pull back and meditate and think. And what helps me in the morning is meditation, listening to God's voice and listening to his instruction before you take off running. Because I'm one of those guys, sometimes I've had the tendency to jump off the bridge and build a parachute on the way down. That's what entrepreneurs do.
Again, we're very like-minded. We are. But, you know, I want to just, this is important to remember. I think people can maybe act calm, but inside they're stewing. Some of us, like myself, we stew outwardly, and some people stew inwardly. I think the key to calm is, and both of those are bad, is the point. If you stew outwardly, not good. You're stewing inwardly, not good, because you're still your thoughts are. What does Jesus say about your thoughts? You might as well act it out. So some of us are acting it out. Some of us are just thinking it. Both are bad. The calm that we want you to encourage you to practice is that inner peace, that calmness that says, this is a bad situation, maybe.
Absolutely.
But there has to be a way through it. And you're calming yourself. And that's what you're talking about with the meditation.
And,
I think that's
so
important.
It helps you to not make a, you know, I always tell people when you get under pressure, and this is something I had to learn over the years, you don't ever want to make a permanent decision on a temporary situation. And most people, when they're under pressure, you'll make a decision. And how, you know, many of us know it costs a lot to get out of situations, a lot more than it did to get in.
Exactly.
So sometimes you need to step back, assess the situation, and before you make a move or make a decision that you may regret.
Love it. That's good advice. You know, ultimately, being resourceful is a key to success. If you're going to be successful, you have to be resourceful. And so applying some of those 6 characteristics, those behaviors to your life will help you be more resourceful and accomplish the things that you want to accomplish. And we'd love for you to become a part of our community at I've Decided. And that's what we do. We help you achieve your goals and dreams. And it's easy to join. You can go to ivedecided.org and sign up as a member. You can get group coaching or individual coaching and all kinds of awesome benefits, all the pieces of the puzzle for success in one location. Pastor Chuck, I want to thank you so much for joining me today. It has just been a real pleasure. I am so excited about Harvest Supermarket and Grill. You can count my family in for being there because I know the food's going to be good because we like the same kind of food. I'm from the South. So, you know, soul food, Southern food, same thing.
It's going to be. And one thing I wanted to mention in the grill, I'm trying not to talk too much about our menu, but we will have a smoked turkey leg.
Oh,
if you've ever been to Houston, they have a place called Smoked Turkey Leg Hut. Now, you talk about resourceful. This couple started outside a rodeo yard with a grill.
Wow.
And to my understanding, I believe they do several hundred turkey legs a day. And not only it's good, a good food, a fun food, but we're going to have it stuff. You can get it with Cajun rice.
Yummy.
Shrimp Creole.
I told you. I knew it's going to be good.
Famous macaroni and cheese.
Which that don't sound too healthy, but it certainly sounds good.
You have to have balance.
Right on. All right. Well, we'll be sure to get you guys the information. And I know that as far as resources, hey, you never know who's listening. If you love the idea and what Pastor Chuck is doing in the Peoria area community, or you live in a community where something like this needs to be done in your area and you want to connect with Pastor Chuck and find out what he's doing so that maybe you can do something similar. Or if you have some financial resources that you want to help, or time, talents, gifts, all of that, I know that they would appreciate it. And how's the best way for them to reach out, to get in touch, to find anything?
Well, we haven't established a website yet.
Okay.
So we have a telephone number, and you can text or call. Most people connect with us on Facebook, social media, which is very resourceful.
Yes.
But you can call me at 309, and it's very easy, 350-7200.
Okay,
We're
perfect.
definitely open for thoughts, ideals, and
okay,
absolutely.
Great. All right, you got it. You guys, thank you so much for tuning in. Thank you. I know we'll have you on the show again because I had so much fun, and we got lots to talk about. So,
absolutely.
All right, enjoy the rest of your week, and thanks for tuning in.